Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Education for Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Our apologies for starting a little bit late, especially to those online. We just had an absolutely wonderful performance from the Langley Fine Arts School Chamber Choir, led by Johnny, is it Mitchell? Johnny Michael. And it was pretty incredible. I think all of us enjoyed it incredibly. I still have goosebumps. It was pretty amazing talent, and so nice that they could come and share their evening with us. I'd like to start out by reminding everyone that this meeting will be live streamed. As per policy number 7, regular and special meetings of the board may be streamed live, archived, and accessed online. The board reserves at its sole discretion, via motion at any meeting, the right to not stream live or archive a meeting or a portion of a meeting. Further, the board reserves the right to edit any recorded portion of a meeting. I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Langley Board of Education at 7:08 p.m. I'd like to first acknowledge that the Langley School District is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Matsqui, Kwantlen, Keetsi, and Semiahmoo First Nations. We gather here tonight in an understanding of the importance of Yayastul, Skekiyais working together, not Samat, let Samat, uniting ourselves with one mind, one heart, to ensure that we support and inspire all learners to reach their full potential. Joining us this evening, our entire board is here this evening, starting with myself, Candy Ashton, chairperson, Trustee Neufeld on the far left, Trustee Fox, and Trustee Rye. And we have Secretary Treasurer Isley beside me on my left, on my right, Superintendent Gill, to his right, Vice Chair Wilson, and then Trustee Dickinson and Trustee Ward. Also joining us this evening, we have Woody Bradford, Deputy Superintendent, Lisa Langeberry, Assistant Superintendent, Marcello Moino, Assistant Superintendent, Shind Chand, Assistant Secretary Treasurer, Joanne Abshire, Director of Communications, Judy Swanson, Executive Assistant, Vincent Montefrio, Technical Support Specialist 3, Jeff Fresco, Technical Support Specialist 2, George Koslevec, Director of Instruction, Jill Stacy, District Teacher, Lindsay Mitchell, Art Educator, Conrad Dykman, Art Educator, Tyrone Kennedy, QP 1260 Vice President, Alva Morrison, QP 1851 Vice President, Jennifer Piper, DPAC President, Paul Trottle, LPVPA President, Taylor Foteau, LTA President, Nancy Peterson, LTA Vice President. I hope I haven't left anybody out, so my apologies if I have. So next on our agenda, we have a report from in camera. I'm going to pass the mic over to you, Vice Chair Wilson.
Great. At tonight's in camera, we discuss legal, property, and personnel.
Thank you. Trustees, you have in your package the consent agenda. And so can I please ask that, just one second. My apologies, my notes are a bit mixed up here. So you have your consent agenda in front of you. Are there any questions on that? No, okay. So could I please have a motion that the Board of Education adopts the consent agenda as provided? Moved by Trustee Dickinson. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Vice Chair Wilson. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion. All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. The next item of business is the adoption of the agenda as published. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? Okay, Vice Chair Wilson. Okay, motion. Is there any business? With regards to CST motion. Okay. Trustee Fox, yes.
Thank you, Chair. Under item 10, I have a motion on the BC Student and Family Affordability Fund.
Okay. So I have, is there any discussion on, well, actually, so we should have actually done those separately, but we, so we have do we have a motion to move the agenda as amended? Yeah. Sorry, I was going to do those separately because we're supposed to actually be doing the motions and then accepting the agenda as amended after. But okay, so moved by Trustee Fox for the agenda as amended. And do I have a seconder? I see Trustee Dickinson. Okay, all those in favor of the agenda as amended? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Right, we're moving along to superintendent's reports. I'm going to pass the mic over to you, Superintendent Gill.
Thank you, Chair Ashdown. This evening, we did have the pleasure of listening to the choir from Langley Fine Arts, and it's only fitting that this evening that we hear from that choir, because this evening we also have a presentation of fine arts across Langley School Districts, an opportunity to hear from teachers who have been doing enormous amount of work ensuring that our students get opportunities like the opportunity we just witnessed a few minutes ago. In addition to that, again, we're always talking about teaching our students to their strengths and finding their strengths, and the arts certainly do provide that opportunity. Before I go any further, I do want to introduce a couple of people that were missing. Gord Hamilton is here, art teacher, and Colleen Turpin, I believe, is here as well. So thank you for coming out this evening. I'll ask Ms. Jill Stacy to please come up to do the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity to boast about arts education here in the district. We're taking a secondary focus, so grade 8 to 12 focus for this evening. Would love to come back another time and talk about K to 7. I'm Jill Stacy. I work in instructional services and supporting arts education. Lindsay Mitchell is a theater drama educator in the district, and Conrad Dykeman is a visual arts ceramics educator in the district. And my discipline is dance. I'm going to see if I can figure this out. There we go. The theme for our presentation is Imagine. We know you're not able to get into the schools as much as you would like to, so we are bringing the art spaces to you. So perfect timing to be following the choir from Langley Fine Arts. Out in the hallway is also a bunch of visual art and photo work from across the district. It's on 3 of our 6 display walls that the district has purchased to be lent out to schools across the district. So it's a great opportunity to also showcase some of what we've been doing. This evening, I'm going to start with the words of Sir Ken Robinson. He visited and spoke at the Langley Fine Arts School as part of the Arts Matter series quite a few years ago. So his words: I feel that the arts have to be seen at the heart of education, not instead of, but alongside science and humanities and physical education. All these things have a powerful place in the education of every child. They are part of the full range of education we need to provide. So I really believe that an education which omits the art is omitting a major part of what it means to make us human, and what it is that all children have the entitlement to learn and to experience. So to me, it's a very big deal. The graduate profile describes the attributes that our district believes are important for our students to have in order to be the educated citizens of the future. This extensive list is all the skills that students of the arts would graduate with. Our district vision emphasizes creativity and adaptability. Arts education makes that vision real. Arts education prepares graduates to think critically, to communicate effectively, and to innovate boldly. Our Imagine journey describes how arts education makes the vision and core values of the district come alive. Tonight, we will focus on some of the key components: wonder, empowered to create, community, courage, and an inclusive and accepting culture.
Imagine. Play is not an extra, and it is so much more than toys. Play has given us a natural way to heal from trauma, to recover emotional health, to build community, and to take in and digest the world around us. That quote is from Hannah Beach, and I'm sure many of you are aware of Hannah's work. The BC curriculum states that through planned and purposeful play, students express their natural curiosity while exploring the world around them. It also provides a means for high-level reasoning and problem solving in a variety of ways. You got it? Okay. Imagine the curiosity it would take to take a photograph of a landscape and then manipulate it. Or imagine the wonder to place yourself into the role of a fictional character from a show that's based on an ancient Greek myth. Imagine. Artificial intelligence is here to stay, and it is challenging education in a multitude of ways. At an essential level, AI answers a question. And in some applications, this is very helpful. A question is asked and an answer is given. However, when making and creating original art, the question is often just the beginning. What follows is a process that involves heart and inquiry, often struggle and resilience, and at the very end, humanity. Without humanity, art is meaningless. Humanity is the final ingredient that has allowed art to survive since the beginning of time itself. In this growing age of AI and the clear impacts on creativity and brain development, the arts allow every child to have the opportunity to create something that is truly their own and completely self-generated. It challenges our minds, it demands critical and creative thinking, and it produces divergent thinkers. Imagine how strong the district technology committee could be if we had art educators on it. I want you to look at go back one second. Look at the top photo. This is an AI generated image of a ram. It's a ram. If your question was, show me a ram, there's your answer. But it's sort of flat and kind of lifeless. If you look at the next piece, imagine this art piece was made by a student using mixed media. Notice how much expression there is in the eyes, which are made entirely of collaged paper. Now imagine the technical skills and the time that it took the student to create this, and the creative problem solving they endured while making it. One of the core values of the district is community. It is human nature to want to belong. The arts are a place where a student can be on a team, a part of a collaborative community, and a piece of the whole. When we offer students community, we offer safety and security. We encourage collective action. Feeling that you belong to a community improves mental well-being and builds and sustains resilience in all children. Imagine how a community is created when we move differently, yet together, to transform the audience and take them to another point in time, and to sing, as we heard tonight, right into the soul of the listener.
Art educators work to build community so that risk-taking can happen. Risk-taking is the capacity to withstand and recover quickly from difficulties. And risk-taking and resilience sits in all of our arts curricula. Risk-taking in the arts often involves embracing vulnerability as students step outside their comfort zones to try new things, try new techniques or new forms of expression. The willingness to be open and uncertain fosters problem solving and leads to growth and authentic artistic voice. And the arts are a driver of resilience. Imagine the courage required to make a statement with your art. The risk taking to become someone else when you are on stage and to maintain that person when you are not the ones with the lines. And the hours of practice needed to craft your art. A huge part of our arts classrooms focuses on the process of art making. Anyone not in the classroom will often only see the end result. And a big part of our practice as arts educators is building and fostering a sense of courage for students to trust that process, to trust the process of risk-taking, the process of positive failure, and the courage to continue. Arts education is the answer to some of the district's largest initiatives. Much of what we have talked about is directly from the UDL guidelines. Art spaces nurture joy and play. They foster belonging and community. They allow for the opportunity to learn about self and the identities of others. And that's those parts circled in red. They build knowledge and provide voice and choice for display of information and require goal setting and reflection to be successful. And the arts excels at creating safe environments. Self-awareness and decision-making is required for risk-taking, and art is often used to communicate a big important social issue. Now imagine the safe spaces where boys dance, where we build relationships so the subject trusts the photographer to represent them with integrity and respect, and the photographer owns that responsibility. Where students trust educators to explore and collaborate, and educators model their own risk-taking. Where students are encouraged to fail in positive and meaningful ways. The arts rooms in our schools are these places.
As we come to the end of our Imagine journey, I want to end with the words of Asala Yusuf, a graduate who spoke about the arts in her valedictorian speech. The world needs your voice and your art to help people reflect, act, laugh, and heal. I invite you to be an ally for marginalized and oppressed groups, to amplify stories and use them to inform, to educate, and to move folks. And as you move forward in this complex world, remember that art is a way to inhale darkness and exhale light. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to pass this back to you, Superintendent Gill, or did you? Yeah, okay. Did any trustees have any comments or questions? No? Well, thank you for being here this evening. We really appreciate you. Oh, okay. Trustee Fox now does have something to say.
I want to thank you for coming tonight and sharing your expertise in the area of arts. My experience now as a grandfather is I go to Christmas concerts and I see the artwork in the way that the teachers, the music teachers and so on put together anything from a group of Ks right through to a group of grade 5s or 6 or 7s. And I think of the effort, the work, the imagination they have as they transition. My grandchildren go to Belmont, and unfortunately, the art teacher the music teacher fell off the stage between the primary and the intermediate shows, so she wasn't actually able to do it. But what it told me is when she fell off the stage and hurt herself rather dramatically, a day later, the intermediate teachers took up that cause because they realized the value of the work she's done, the art she's presented for the parents that were coming to see it. And I think that it just shows the message goes across the staff. They're there to support the teacher in all the prep, but when something dramatic happens, they're there to take it and to the next step. So
Yeah.
I think it's alive and well in a lot of schools in our district, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you.
You've heard about her situation.
Her husband was going to be here tonight, but he is on child duty because she's recovering.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again so much for coming this evening, and I have a true appreciation for arts and how it helped my daughter who graduated from the fine arts. She went there late in her school years and now has graduated from Emily Carr with a visual arts degree. So without the fine arts school, I'm not sure, where she would have sort of found her place, because it was there in the arts. So it was pretty incredible.
Some student stories at each of your tables as well.
Yes.
They're a mix. Yes. There's more than the 5, but we tried to sort of give you a sampling of students from across the district, but graduates as well as students that are in school right now. So just a little bit of a smattering of student stories for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay. Oh, sure, Superintendent Gill.
Before the teachers head off, I just want to say thank you for your time. I know that in working in schools, late into the night, weekends, spring break, Christmas break, you can find all of you in the building working with kids so that when it comes time for performance, the kids are at their best. And that only happens because of your dedication. And obviously, I'm saying thank you to you, but I'm saying thank you to all of our arts teachers for all that extra work. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, we're we're just having a little. Okay, trustees, could I please have a motion that the Board of Education receives the update on fine arts across the Langley School District for information as presented? Moved by Trustee Neufeld, seconded by Trustee Dickinson. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. And next on our agenda is 7.2 Odyssey Professional Development Day 2026. Back over to you, Superintendent Gill.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Director Kozlovic to please come up for this report. Again, certainly an event that we're proud of. We work with our partners to plan the event, and like most years, it'll be packed with lots of important professional learning opportunities and celebrations of Indigenous culture. And one of the main organizers and person who's been doing a ton of work is Director Kozlovic, and I'll have him do a quick presentation for us.
Thanks, Superintendent Gill. Thanks to the board for welcoming me tonight. I am both excited and honored to be able to be here to share a little bit about Odyssey 2026, which, as you can see, will be happening on February 9th, 2026. So as you are aware, Odyssey, the Odyssey is our Indigenous Focus Pro D Day. And the Ministry of Education requires all districts to dedicate one of their professional development days each year to Indigenous focused learning. And that is what our Odyssey Day is focused on. This is the third year since COVID that we've been actually doing Odyssey in person. So we are very excited to be continuing to be able to do it in person. And it has been growing every year. So last year we had just roughly around 2,000 staff from across the district who attended Odyssey. And we are expecting that to be around the same amount this year. So which will be a very busy and packed day of learning. As was mentioned, Odyssey is co-planned by a group of representing all of our partner groups across the district. So we have a committee that meets on a regular basis. It includes members from the Langley Teachers Association, from QP 1851, from QP 1260. We have representatives from the Langley principals and vice principals on that committee. We also have members of the Aboriginal Department who are part of that, along with myself from Instructional Services, our other director, Kendra Simoneto, and we also have our professional services staff who are the key people that organize that conference. And so this is something we've been doing over the last couple of years to make sure that we are providing a day of learning which meets the needs of all staff across the district, teaching staff as well as support staff and administrators, which I'll talk about in a little bit. A shape of the day, just so you know what the day looks like. And of course, you're all welcome to join us for that day. It is an exciting day. It is a full day that takes place at the Langley Events Center and R.E. Mountain and Peter Ewart middle schools. Those are our hosts. So we will once again open the day at Langley Events Center with an opening welcoming ceremony and a keynote speaker, which I'll speak about in a moment. And then everybody, about 2,000 of us, will then transition over to Peter Ewart and R.E. Mountain for the breakout sessions. And as you can see, there are 2 breakout sessions of 90 minutes each throughout the day that staff get to choose what they will sign up for. And I'll speak more about some of the offerings that we have. We also are providing lunch once again for all of the attendees. And as part of our Indigenous focus, during lunch, there will be cultural presentations throughout the two buildings. If you were there last year, there were some amazing Indigenous cultural presentations that attendees got to take in and view as they were enjoying lunch. And the day will wrap up approximately around 3 o'clock. This year, our focus is called Connecting the Hearts. Our last 2 years, our theme was Opening Our Hearts, where we really focused on the cultural aspect of truth and reconciliation. And if for those of you that were there, you may remember we have had some cultural presentations as part of our opening. This year, we're very honored and privileged to have a keynote speaker, and that keynote speaker is Dr. Negan Sinclair. Dr. Sinclair is actually the son of the Honorable Justice Murray Sinclair, who you will know is instrumental and had a huge amount of influence in terms of the work around truth and reconciliation in our country. His son, Dr. Negan Sinclair, is a professor out in Manitoba. He's also a writer, an editor. A number of district staff have heard him speak. In fact, he was just recently a keynote presenter at the Finesse conference in Vancouver. And anybody who has heard him speak, he is an incredible speaker who speaks very deeply around reconciliation, but also does so in a way that makes people feel empowered, but also good about the work that we're doing. And so you can see what his keynote presentation is there. Like I said, spoke at Finesse. So we are very honored to be able to have somebody of that quality who is going to open our conference with a keynote around assessing reconciliation. Once the keynote is finished, we will then head over to the schools, R.E. Mountain and Peter Ewart. This year we have approximately about 150 different breakout sessions that are available for staff. Last year we had about 100, so we've increased that number by 150. We're thrilled about that. One of the things that is happening as our conference has returned to in-person, we actually have people reaching out to us randomly who have heard about our conference who want to come and present. And so we have way more speakers this year than we had last year. As I mentioned, it is our Indigenous Focused Day, so the majority of the workshops are specifically Indigenous focused, but they cover a wide variety of Indigenous topics. So we have workshops around truth and reconciliation. Dr. Sinclair, in addition to giving the keynote, will also be offering 2 breakout sessions around how to teach reconciliation effectively. We have historical presentations, including presentations that involve the BC blanket exercise, which many of you in this room may have participated in the past, which is a really powerful activity. Another really interesting workshop that we have and have had the last couple of years is the Canadian Geographical Giant Floor Map, which is an interactive activity that the BCTF puts on, where they actually bring a huge map of Canada with that shows the history of all the Indigenous peoples in Canada, and people get to kind of experience like the workshop through actually walking and visiting the different parts of the map. We have cultural presentations around Indigenous singing and drumming, and we also have a number of local Indigenous presenters, and these are just a few of the examples. For example, we have Joseph Danduran coming to do a session on Kwantlen storytelling. So again, lots of variety around the Indigenous focus workshops in a variety of different areas. And there are many, many more. I'm just touching on 5 of 150 in that session. And we have, as I mentioned, presenters from inside our district. We have many presenters who are district staff, teachers in our schools. We have support staff presenting. Basically all kinds of people from within the district. We have administrators in the district presenting, and then we have a huge amount of external presenters who come to our conference. And as I mentioned at the very beginning, this is really about all staff in our district. So we do have specific offerings that are attempting to target all of the different partner groups. So it is not just for teachers. That is one of the reasons we've brought in our partners to make sure we are planning a day that meets the needs of all people in the district. So we have curricular presentations for teachers in pretty much every subject area, including the arts, which we just talked about, social studies, PE, language arts, languages. We have lots of hands-on learning workshops that cover art, music, outdoor education, play. We have workshops around self-regulation that can be used within the classroom, staff and student wellness. And then we also have lots of community partners who come and share how they support the school district and how they support the work that our different staff are doing. And as I mentioned, role-specific workshops that touch all of our different groups. So the goal is we hopefully have something for everyone. And if we don't, we also are welcome to feedback about what we're missing, and we will try to add that the following year because we do our best to try to meet the needs of all of the staff across the district. And for those of you that, just so that you know, registration actually opens on Thursday. So we are excited that we've got everything ready to go. Last year, we launched the last week before Christmas. And by the time we returned after the winter break, I know people are taking their break, but lots of people registered. We had about 1,000 people that registered by the time we returned in January. So the advice we're giving people is register early, because the feedback we heard last year was people who didn't were then like, oh, I wanted that workshop, but I couldn't get in. So if you want the workshops that are the ones that you're really excited, when it launches on Thursday, get into the booklet, get onto the website, register early. Everything takes place on thinklangley.com. Staff need to pick their 2 breakout sessions. They also will be able to select their lunch, the simplified menu this year of 3 choices, but they'll actually select that as part of the registration. And the other reason to register early is in order for us to get organized, it has to close about a week and a half before the conference, or 2 weeks before the conference. So if you are planning to attend, sign up early and be able to pick the workshops that you want, or you will miss out. This is the best thing I can say. So, and I'm happy to take any questions that anybody might have.
Thank you. Trustees, Trustee Fox.
Thank you, and thanks for that, and thanks for all the organization. Obviously, it's a big undertaking with that many people. Is February the 9th across the province, or is that the day that Langley is selected?
So this is our district professional development day. So it is not necessarily in alignment with other districts. So the provincial day in October is provincial across the district, but beyond that, other districts can choose, depending on what works for them, different days. So I do not, most Pro D days fall on a Friday. Not a lot of Pro Ds fall on Monday, although some districts do. But as far as I know, I'm not aware of what other districts have on that particular day. So
actually, that can work in your benefit, because some of the people that are involved across in other districts don't have anything that day. They can come to Langley and make presentations and so on. Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Trustee Dickinson.
I love this day so much. I wish that we had something like that where I work. And I love that all the staff is included in it. I really think that it's important that to go forward meaningfully with truth and reconciliation, that we all have to do the education piece. And I just think this is just such a great day to be bringing education to everybody in our district. So thank you very much for all the work that you're doing with this.
welcome.
Vice Chair Wilson.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to attend in the past, and it is truly incredible to see like all of the staff in Langley come and be together and be present for it all, and great speakers. And I'm just so impressed that we have Dr. Sinclair to actually teach a workshop on how to teach reconciliation. Like that just is so amazing and such a huge benefit to our staff. And I just know that it's so important for people to feel like they're getting it right. It's just one of those topics that they're like, always hands off. Like, what if I screw it up? What if I get it wrong? And, like trying to really emphasize the importance of, everybody's trying and everybody's learning. But to have that resource is just truly amazing. So really thankful for everybody that's putting it together. Great job, and looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Any other trustees have any questions or comments? No. I have it on my calendar, and I'm absolutely going to try this year. It seems to conflict with my calendar every year, but this year I'm planning on taking the day and being there. So I'm excited to do that. So thank you very much for all your hard work on this. And I agree with my fellow trustees here. What an incredible day that is for all of our staff in our schools. And so thank you.
Cool.
All right. Trustees, could I please have a motion that the Board of Education receives the report on Odyssey Professional Development Day 2026 for information as presented? Moved by Trustee Fox, seconded by Vice Chair Wilson. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to 8.1 under Secretary Treasurer's reports. Budget process and timelines 2025-2026. Over to you, Secretary Treasurer Isley.
Thank you, Chair. In your package tonight, you'll find a report from staff on the budget process, some of the philosophy that we have as we prepare the budget and the timeline. I'm not going to go through all that tonight, but I am going to highlight the timeline of the budget process that we're going to follow once again for the 26-27 budget year. As usual, the preliminary budget always starts from the amended budget. That process has been underway over the last couple months. You can see on the left is the amended budget process, and then on the right, the 26-27 preliminary. Staff have been meeting with departments over the last couple months and worked with school budgets over the month of November. Those are all in. And we're just combining all that information, and we'll be bringing a first draft of what we have for the amended budget to the board at the the January Finance and Facilities meeting on the 20th. And then starting in January, we'll also start working with our partner groups and stakeholders to get feedback and input through the months of January through April, as well as the annual budget survey that we do for our community and staff. And that's part of the preliminary process. Hopefully the final version of the budget will be, for the amended, will be brought to the February 10th Finance Facilities meeting, which will then be presented at a public meeting on the 24th. So that we can file that by the 28th, which is a requirement from the Ministry and the School Act to have it amended budget submitted by February 28th of every school year. On planning with the preliminary for 26-27 really starts after the funding announcement, which usually happens mid-March. It's where the Ministry lets us know what our preliminary operating grant funding and any other special purpose funds are that we can expect to build our plan on. Through February through April, we work with our central departments to work through the budget planning requests, and the team works February through May on developing the budget. We do provide updates to the board at Finance Facilities meetings through February and May with the information and updates as they come. With the goal always to be at the public May meeting, which is May 26th this year, where we have historically had the first and second readings of the budget bylaw. And then we hold an open house on June 2nd for community to ask any questions or clarification based on that information that was shared in May, with the plan to have third reading done June 16th at the public meeting, to be compliant with the June 30th requirement for submitting a balanced budget. So with that, I hand it back to you, Chair, for any questions.
Thank you. Trustees, do you have any questions or comments on the budget process? No? Okay, all right. Could I please have a motion that the Board of Education approve the budget process and timeline 2026-2027 preliminary operating budget as presented? Moved by Trustee Dickinson, seconded by Trustee Ward. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. All right, moving on to 9.1 under Policy Committee. Notice of motion return, Policy 7, Board Operations. I'm thinking I'll take this one. Okay. So I'm just going to get to my place here. So trustees, the You may recall that at our October 21st regular meeting, the board passed a motion to serve notice of motion to the district's education community and its education partner groups that it intends to adopt the revisions to Policy 7, board operations. The revisions originally that were recommended from the policy committee to the board were to remove the duplication of the listing of meals and overnight allowance amounts in both Policy 7 and the Administrative Procedure 513 travel expenses. So the notice of motion was served requesting feedback, and I understand that no feedback was received. So, okay. So I would like to make a motion that the Board of Education approves Policy 7, board operations as presented. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Trustee Fox. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Okay, we are now at 10, new business. I'm going to pass it over to you first, Vice Chair Wilson.
Great. I have a motion that if passed at this board would then go forward to the BCSTA AGM, and then it would be heard there and decided on by that body. But first, there's a requirement for it to pass at our local board. So it's titled at Labor Relations Learning Guide. Whereas respectful labor management relationships are essential to effective school district governance and positive workplace culture. Whereas boards of education would benefit from practical guidance on building constructive relationships with their unionized employee groups and understanding differences in relationships that exist between unions and senior staff versus elected officials. And whereas BCSTA is well positioned to develop resources that support trustees in strengthening labor relations practices, be it resolved that the Board of Education approves the following motion be submitted to the BCSTA Annual General Meeting. That the British Columbia School Trustees Association, in consultation with the BC Public Sector Employees Association and willing unionized employee group representatives, develop a learning guide to support boards of education in building respectful relationships with labor unions. The rationale. Boards of education have a responsibility to foster healthy, respectful labor relations. A practical learning guide would provide trustees with best practices, communication strategies, and tools for developing constructive relationships with union partners. By creating this resource in consultation with employee groups, BCSTA can help boards strengthen their labor relations, improve workplace culture, and support effective governance across BC school districts. School districts have a variety of unions that represent different employee groups, including but not limited to BCTF, CUPE, IBEW, IEOU, BCGEU, Boilermakers, and Teamsters. The BCSTA can explore consultations with provincial representatives to develop some best practices in building and maintaining healthy relationships. BCPC is the bargaining representative, and BCSTA work collaboratively with them to support the Board of Educations in BC. BCPC will provide excellent insight into building and maintaining healthy relationships and how relationships shift between bargaining and non-bargaining time periods. Second.
Thank you. Is there, so moved by Vice Chair Wilson, do I have a seconder? The motion moved, or seconded, sorry, by Trustee Dickinson. Any discussion on the motion? Or would you like to? I know you started already.
Yeah, I'll just add quickly that in my 7 years as a trustee, I've seen a lot of guides from BCSTA and workshops and literature on how trustees should interact with superintendents and with staff. But I've noticed a gap in any literature or any guides on best practice on how to interact and communicate with their union partners. So I hope this motion fills that gap.
Thank you. Trustee Dickinson.
I'm happy to support this motion tonight. Any motion that supports a positive communication between our union partner groups and the boards, I think is a good step forward. I'm hopeful of the success of this motion and look forward to seeing what the learning guide will look like.
Thank you. Any other trustees have any questions, or trustee Neufeld?
Tricks. So hopefully, yeah, I always forget that. Thank you. I'll just say it again. So here in Langley, we do have a good working relationship with our partner groups, and I just I hope that what we do can be brought to the BCSDA so that other districts can have similar relationships if they don't already.
Thank you. Any other trustees? Okay, so we have a motion that is moved and seconded. So can I please have a show of hands for all those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving on along to trustee Fox, you also have a motion for us this evening.
Thank you, Chair Ashdown. So my motion is reflective of the BC Student and Family Affordability Fund. So whereas the BC Student and Family Affordability Fund has provided school districts with flexible resources to address cost pressures for students and families, allowing the schools to assist in funding school supplies, course consumables, and help offset activity and athletics, field trips, and provide short-term emergency support for the most vulnerable families. And these needs have not gone away. And in fact, for many families and schools, the affordability crisis has worsened. And whereas the loss of the Student and Family Affordability Fund represents an annual loss of approximately $2.2 million for the Langley School District. And further, the reinstatement of this fund on a multi-year basis would allow for more sustainable planning, reduce administrative burden associated with year-to-year uncertainty, reduce pressure on local PACs to fundraise and help maintain supports that have become integral to student success. A continuation of this investment in public education supports equity, attendance, and student well-being, advancing both provincial and district goals and initiatives. Therefore, I move that the Board of Education for Langley School District advocate for the continued and sustainable funding of the Provincial Student and Family Affordability Fund, and the board advocate for its continuation through, number one, presenting a motion to the Metro Vancouver District Boards in January of 2026 to ascertain their support for reinstatement of the Student and Family Affordability Fund, and in doing so, include the ability of school districts to allow for a portion of the funds to be used for staffing and overhead costs. And number two, to submit a formal resolution to the BCSDA AGM requesting them to lobby the Ministry of Education for reinstatement of the Student and Family Affordability Fund. I so move.
Thank you, trustee Fox. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Vice Chair Wilson. And would you like to speak to that? Yep.
Well, thank you. The Student and Family Affordability Fund was money, and I think Secretary Treasurer Isley alluded to it, special purpose funds. And the challenge that I see within the school funding envelope is we get these pockets of special purpose funds, and they're dedicated to a specific rationale, but then at the discretion of the ministry, they pull those funds. So the Student and Family Affordability Fund at Metro Vancouver, I know other school districts are very concerned about this because it takes the use of a discretionary fund and it takes it out of the hands of where it's most needed, which is at the school level. And it has made a difference. Recently, there was an article about the principal of Kitsilano Secondary School and how it's affected his operational status as a principal in his inability to use those funds for discretionary purposes. And I know that's the same in across the province in terms of how it's being able to fill in gaps for families and for students to enable them to enjoy some of the possibilities. Recently, I read an article about a young student who's from an inner city school in our school district who's out collecting bottles so she can make a music trip to Victoria. Whereas if that individual had the opportunity to go down and talk to the administration, there's a possibility they could get some support financially to help and maybe not have to rely on fundraising, collecting bottles, whatever that may be. So the context of this is I'd like to take it to the January 16th Metro Vancouver board meeting. I know there are other boards that are very interested in supporting this, and then have from there a motion to go to the BCSTA AGM, which is in April, similar to what Vice Chair Wilson's will end up at the BCSTA AGM. I hope that this will as well. So there's my rationale. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Fox. Okay, first we have Trustee Dickinson, and then I'll go to you, Trustee Neufeld.
I'm pleased to support this motion tonight wholeheartedly. Working in the schools, I've seen firsthand what the discretionary funds can be used for with the affordability fund. Things like that you might not think of, like a gas card for a family that had some sort of tragedy and they need to get to the hospital and they are struggling to pay their bills and pay for gas, and the school can offer them a gas card, or they might be able to offer them food when a social service check didn't come through. And it was such a gift to be able to help out families in that way. Well, I know they brought in Feeding Futures and it's kind of replaced the affordability fund. It's just not the same. So I wholeheartedly support this motion, and I hope the board does as well.
Thank you. And Trustee Neufeld.
The more people that speak to it, I think the more powerful it will be. So thank you for this motion, Charlie.
Thank you.
Okay, any other trustees have anything to say? No. Okay, could I please then we have the motion. We have it motioned and we have a seconder. So could I please have a show of hands for all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Right, now we're moving along to trustee work reports. Rather than putting anyone on the spot, just raise your hands if you'd like, if you have something to share, and it's a work report, though, remember. We all wish everyone were ready. Okay, Vice Chair Wilson.
Yeah, I have a work report. This will become a work report. No, so much of a trustee's work is advocacy. As you've heard some motions here tonight, and a lot of the work sometimes goes into those motions. So I feel that sometimes things can make people uncomfortable, but I just want to say that I'm really proud of our board for working through that uncomfortableness sometimes and supporting each other. And I also want to say that being part of our role is being out in the community, and I find that people often want to approach you as a trustee and, you know, come and talk to you about the schools. And so I've heard from a lot of you lately about how this last week is so hard, and I've been there with you in the schools. And so I just want to thank all staff everywhere for all that you do, and hang in there. It's only a few more sleeps and you've got this. So thank you.
Okay, Trustee Fox, do you have a work report?
Yeah, I told a little story here about how the teachers at my grandchildren's school came together to help. And I think that collegial piece, and I think Trustee Wilson was alluding to it, is so important to the success of the education system. And when you see that happen, it warms your heart. I did have the opportunity, and I want to just say this, I had the opportunity today to go and listen to some capstones. And I just can't believe it. Some of these kids are so engaged and their goals are so lofty, and what they've done to achieve them is so wonderful to sit there. And unfortunately, the teachers give you 10 minutes. But I think I went 3 in a row with one person. I kind of went over. I'm like, because you know what? You get so engaged with these students, and it's so heartwarming and great to see. And it makes you proud as a trustee going into Christmas break, just to listen to them, have them tell your story, ask them a few questions. It's great. There's not enough hours in the day, though, for everybody.
Great. Seeing no other hands. I just quickly wanted to mention that since our last board meeting, our board, we attended BCSTA Academy, and I actually really enjoyed the Academy this year. Not that I don't enjoy it usually, but I extra enjoyed it. The sessions that they put on were really great, and there was lots of different topics, and I know I even had a hard time choosing which ones to go to. I would have liked to have even attended a couple more. So some of them included trustee code of conduct and freedom of expression, chairing through conflict, working with people and governing in public interest. I know there was one on PSEC as well, which I hear was absolutely amazing, and I was disappointed I actually didn't get to that one. But so anyways, I just kudos to BCSTA because they did a really great job. And the keynote speaker the very first evening on the Thursday for the trustees that were there, she was pretty incredible. Hopefully I don't say her name wrong. Farah Mohammed, I think. And she's a senator in the Senate of Canada, and she spoke on investing in youth and fostering leadership, emphasizing the role that trustees play in shaping their future. And she called trustees architects of possibility. So anyways, I really enjoyed listening to her speak. She's pretty amazing woman. So just wanted to mention that. We also had an opportunity to listen to the Minister of Education, Lisa Bear, and also the Minister of Education and Childcare. I have to remember that now. And Lisa Bear, and then the Minister of Infrastructure, Bowen Ma. And then also since then, we had a partner liaison dinner meeting, which I really enjoyed with our partner groups. So, and I know that all of us were there, or most of us. I can't remember if there was anyone missing, but it was a really great evening, and I really appreciated the work that everyone put into putting that on, and for our partners to actually attend with us. And many of you were there, so I appreciated you being there. So we're moving on to question period. So I will quickly read what I have to say, and I will try to be quick. Question period is provided at board meetings. The purpose is to ensure that those present in the audience have an opportunity to obtain clarification concerning business conducted during that meeting. Priority will be given to responding to one question per person before considering further questions from any individual. The following will help the public develop questions for a question period at a board meeting that is keeping with the goal of a respectful and focused meeting. Questions need to be directed to the chair and not to staff, need to be related directly to the topic on the agenda, need to be succinct, focused, and not be a statement, may not be asked that are related to personnel or directed at an individual trustee, may not be asked that are related to contract negotiations, and the questioner shall provide their names so that it can be reflected in the minutes. All of the above are directions provided for in Board Policy Number 7, Board Operations. The chair may answer, may defer to staff, or indicate a question may not be in keeping with the above guidelines. The board appreciates the public's interest and wants to ensure a professional meeting is conducted with question period focused on providing guests with the clarification they seek. Trustees also welcome questions from members of the public apart from question period. Our contact information is available on the school district website. Do I have anybody have any questions? No questions. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you for bearing with me while I read that. So trustees, could I please have a motion to adjourn? Moved by, oh. Well, only my mic is on. But I guess before we adjourn, though, I'll just say on behalf of the board, have an incredible holiday season, everyone, and hopefully some well-deserved time off. I know I'm certainly looking forward to a little bit of time just to relax and take some time with family and friends and enjoy. So have a wonderful rest, and we will see you all in the new year. And thank you all for being here, those of you that stayed with us until the end. So can I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by, actually, Trustee Ward did already move it, so seconded by Vice Chair Wilson. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone.